Hey everybody, welcome to NewWayStories. I am your host, Jesse Roberts, and we are a comedy podcast that talks about comics, creativity, and cinema. Today, we are talking about the state of comedy films with our good friend, John Ralph. John, how we doing, man?
Oh, we're doing. Little busy in San Diego. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late, but
That's okay.
We're here, ready to go.
John was in town recently for a wedding and also took pictures of Northtown for me. They turned out sick, and then just inevitably, when John and I are around each other, we are talking about movies and all of those good things. I can't remember how long ago it was, but John was on the pod a while ago.
Yeah.
It's about a year ago, I think.
Maybe
Couple years?
Maybe even.
No.
I don't know if it's been
a while.
2 years, but maybe longer than a year.
10 years?
10 years? Is it 10 years? But the point is that we talked about horror films, and actually that's one of our more watched videos.
It was 2 years ago, October 2nd, 2023.
Shoot, we're almost right at 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
That's nuts.
It's been too long. Too long.
It's been that long.
But today we're talking comedy films. And I think at first, Darius is here as well. Ben, you're also here. I think at first glance for people, we've talked about this before, comedy and horror are the opposites. However, I think when you actually look at them, they are closely related in there's the format of how you do it. Comedy relies on a punchline, a setup punchline, and really horror also relies on a setup punchline. Both are looking for a certain physical emotion or something that it elicits. And and then I think the biggest thing too in both comedy and horror is when you try and fail or you try too hard, it is more painfully obvious in horror and comedy than in any other genre. John, what do you have to say about that comedy horror intro?
Honestly, probably pretty spot on.
It would have been so much better if you had said, I have to say completely vehemently disagree.
I was really curious why you wanted.
We are all stupider for hearing you this way.
Honestly, pretty angry. Not feeling good.
Yeah. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, all right, and done. So here's the thing. This is why we kind of wanted to talk about it, because I think there's an interesting thing that happens. All of us love comedy films, right? And I think everybody in the world has a favorite comedy film or has a movie that they like, that they go, man, I just love putting this on and laughing with people, or if I need, a pick-me-up or whatever, they have a movie in mind. However, major studios make less and less comedies, especially putting them into the theaters, and they're investing less time and resources into making a genre that I think everybody's on board with.
Yeah.
Which is just interesting to me. So
the question,
we're going to kind of talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
What were you going to say, Darius?
Well, the question, I don't want to answer the question, but the question is for the last 5 years is what will people pay to go see in the movie theater?
Yeah.
And
right.
And how long should you keep something? There used to be a lag in production because they had to literally physically produce the VHSs or the DVDs.
Right.
Now there needs to be no lag. There's no physical necessity. So when it's in theaters, you're not like, oh man, I hope they get those VHSs printed quick.
I honestly
you're like, why are you holding this from me?
That it's in theaters for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you can get it on Amazon.
I mean, it's Superman that
for
just came out.
$25. It's kind of insane to me. I kind of and I don't think there needs to be a 6-month gap of this is no longer in theaters, and now we're making millions of VHS tapes. But I do think that there is be in theaters for a little bit, right? 2 months or whatever. Give it a month. and then do another release, right?
I gotta say, I used to freaking love the anticipation. Like I hated it, but I loved it when I was like, God, I just can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, man.
I literally cannot watch this movie again. I just want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's not out on DVD yet.
Yep. I think there's an anticipation there. So, okay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a big topic to it. I think I want to talk about comedy trends really quick before we get into the theater social media thing, because one thing that I hear, the three of us grew up on Anchorman, like the Will Ferrell era, right? Ben, what would you say your favorite like comedy is from your like high school days?
Oh man,
Which was like 2 years ago.
That's not true. It was almost 10 years ago.
10? Oh my gosh.
I mean, here's the tricky thing. In high school, I was watching Marvel movies. That was like peak 2017,
Right, so
2019.
You're the problem.
I am the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know. Comedy movies I liked as a kid was like Nacho Libre. Like kind of like that
so
Jack
you're
Black.
still, yeah. Okay. But there's got to be a movie. You think about it.
I mean, I was kind of in I watched Talladega Nights, The Other Guys,
So you were
Step Brothers.
You were like more of the,
I was the tail end of the
later Will Ferrell stuff. John, what about you, man? What was like your comedy movie in high school?
And I'm trying to think what came out like because we graduated 2008. So
Yeah.
what?
I mean,
man,
you
what
know,
was-
Napoleon Dynamite and Anchorman were 2004, 2005, and then you had kind of the same sort of. You had that on repeat, right? Of Talladega Nights, and they tried to do Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2006, 2007 is probably like where the
Super
rise-
bad and yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I
hard
watched
R
those.
comedies that started, they're like, oh, you can make money if you put F words in these still.
right.
And then like super bad blows up huge.
And I think Apatow really kind of started blowing up as well in that time with, Knocked Up.
started and stopped.
Right. Yeah. So those sort of like kind of more emotional comedies, I would
Yeah.
call them. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't like it wasn't Anchorman. There's no emotional center to that movie.
Yeah,
It is
and
a
then you
2-hour
had-
long sketch.
Yeah.
I think 2009 was The Hangover. And so you kind of had this blow up of
Yeah.
like Zach Galifianakis was a thing for a bit, especially in the movies. And then, I mean, listen, Ben Stiller has been a staple the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Robert
Something about Mary.
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, something
Tropic
about Mary. So anyway,
Did Tropic Thunder do well commercially?
I think it did. Did
It
it
got
not?
nominated for an Oscar, which you
It definitely
usually
has. It definitely has settled in like one of. I guess it might be considered a highly produced cult classic. Like
Yeah,
that would
Yeah.
be.
I don't know if it technically.
it's
Because Ben Stiller, he is a high. Speaking of like putting in a ton of resources, Ben Stiller is a high resource guy for comedies. They filmed in the most expensive locations. He's got an
interesting.
all-star cast. Like a Ben Stiller movie costs money to make.
I mean, from everything I can look up, it was profitable. It was a success. I don't know if it was a
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. But here's my thing. I guess when I wanted to talk about trends because I think that a lot of times studios go, we can't make comedy movies because these movies sucked, right? And it's movie makers or producers are trying to catch something in lightning in a bottle again. Anchorman, you saw a whole bunch of people try to make Will Ferrell and Adam McKay movies, right? And then The Hangover came out, and everybody tried to make what The Hangover was, like in that sort of, the raunchy. This is kind of adjacent to Judd Apatow, but like Seth Rogen and that studio.
I always just lump them in. Like
Yeah.
they're obviously different artists, but
Disciples
they-
of Judd Apatow, but
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
different movies.
Yeah, well, because you got Jason Segel too, like another one of the Apatow appetites.
Yeah.
What's that movie called? Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forgetting Sarah
also a
Marshall,
hard
yep.
R movie.
Yeah. So anyway, there's these trends, and I think studios fall victim to it, that they go, oh, we have to make a movie exactly like this. And then when it's not profitable, they're like, I guess we can't make comedy movies. Or even when I talk to people and I go, you know, do you like comedy? And they're like, oftentimes they're like, I don't really like Will Ferrell. It's like, okay, you don't have to like Will Ferrell. And I understand if that's not your, if you're not into Will Ferrell. And then when you see people try to do Will Ferrell and they do it poorly, then I can see where you can go, I'm really not into this era of comedy.
Dude, I saw a clip last night of when Travis Kelce hosted SNL a year or two ago. And I think he's probably like a funny person to be around. Like for a football player, he's probably one of the funnier pro football players. But like watching him on SNL, and obviously he's not a professional performer, but he's like just doing Will Ferrell. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, I don't like this if it's not Will Ferrell.
Yeah, right.
Which is how people felt about me for my entire teenage years. I see now how it was grating. People were like, oh, we don't like this.
All right, John, I'm talking way too much.
No, you're good.
Initial thoughts on trends, comedy trends.
Are you on trend?
Are you on trend? Are you on fleek?
Dude, I wish. I wish I could be on TRT or trend.
They won't let you. The Navy says no HGH.
No, they took a pretty big crackdown against it a few years ago because there was a bunch of like SEALs and that type of community doing it. Granted, like, can people be on some type of little upper or like a testosterone? Yes, but like if it's
got to
like
be prescribed.
Yeah, like, all right, you're pretty. You don't want to get out of bed.
I want to know.
Need it.
I want to know what the like chain of command was. They were like, "Hey, we've got all these Navy SEALs. Their testicles are tiny. We can't have that. They're all on HGH. We need the Navy SEALs to be the standard for testicular health. Get them off this."
Well, I will answer that question to answer Darius's question. Yeah, on deployment, people can get away with a lot of things. And when there's, you're in the middle of nowhere and people have means to get stuff like that, people get it. And a lot of people juice. On deployment.
Really interesting. I'm so sorry. My bad. Comedy trends.
We're all having fun here.
Military and
Don't be all
steroids.
Forrest Frank about it and make a big stink.
Trevor's two favorites.
I didn't mean to. That was an accident. Comedy trends.
Yeah. No. Comedy trends. Yeah. No. The going back to your earlier point that I think you were talking about. I don't think anybody saw the streaming service and where it was coming, right? Like that shifted the entire market.
Yeah.
For
they should have.
stuff.
I don't know why they didn't.
What's that, Ben?
They should have.
They should have seen it coming.
They should have seen it coming. I
yeah,
feel like there was a lot of writing on the walls, and they were too dumb and old to.
I mean, there is a thing about like big companies do the tried and true method until it fails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Netflix. Yeah. Netflix saw the writing on the wall. Like,
yeah,
totally.
They saw that streaming, but they had access to streaming where movie studios were just putting out movies in theaters.
Well, the other reality is like Netflix was taking business away from DVD sales, but Netflix wasn't profitable. Like Netflix operates on a deficit budget.
Netflix originally was doing DVD, wasn't it though?
Yeah,
sure.
it was the mail-in for sure.
The disruption of the streaming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're right. But like, so Netflix as a streaming service, as far as I understand, it's not profitable. So I do think there's a sense in which people were like, well, this Netflix thing won't, like CEOs were like, this Netflix thing won't last. Like they're not making that much money.
Right. Then it just keeps going.
Which is wild to think that it's not profitable given that like
I think it is profitable
all you
now.
literally have to do. What's that?
I think it is profitable. I just looked at I'm seeing stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's probably all its global stuff because we talked about it a while ago. There's a lot of like Indian, like what's Bollywood kind of content.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's 1 billion people right there that'll get subscriptions. Either way, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep interrupting you, John. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Don't know how profitable it is, but like in theory, you don't even have to make any new content because you can just put out content.
Yeah.
But going back to the larger point, I think, especially with where streaming is today and what it is, talking about like comedies and how they're not really coming out in theaters, I think that system has kind of just screwed the pooch on itself. in the sense that like studios now are just looking for big blockbusters, and that's why like you see the Marvel and the comic books, and like it has to be this epic type of thing where if it's not making $100 million, we don't really want to play with it. Where like a comedy back in the day, hey, we made this for I don't know like 10 million and it's going to make like 15 or 20, but we're going to also hit resurgence when we go to like DVD.
Totally.
It's just not there anymore. So people are just, yeah, unfortunately, they're just kind of throwing them off to the side.
It is an interesting thing to me, though, that like I don't understand. Like during this the speech for Anora, what's the director's name? Sean.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about. But he goes, let this like hopefully this encourages studios. This was like a film made on a budget that was like successful, right? And it is interesting to me that you go, hey, we have to make this movie that's going to cost us $200 million or more, right? And we put all of our eggs in one basket and hope that this doubles our profit, right?
You know what else is sorry?
But like, why not make 5 $50 million movies, and you only have to have one of those hit, right? Yeah. Or make two or three of them can be minor profitable, but you're spreading it out, and you're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Spreading your seed.
Well, A24 has done pretty well, and I don't know if maybe I'm wrong, and A24 has always been hyper well funded, but as far as I've understood, a lot of the A24 films have been relatively lower budget.
Well, I
think so.
I just watched Friendship last night.
Yes.
How was that?
It was great. We watched it. So we just put our baby to sleep, and so she was in the room, and we had headphones on. And there's so many times where we're laughing, but you have to be so quiet about it, and so you're just kind of open mouth, kind of like hunched over. It was a good time. But like that movie was $5 million was the budget, I think.
Was that all it was?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And what's crazy, you have these $100 million superhero movies, which I love. I'm the problem. I go out and watch them.
Yeah.
But they look like garbage.
Totally.
And the scripts aren't finished.
Well, that's like a similar thing that I keep bringing it up, but like -1, they made it for $30 million, I think. Like
around that. Yeah,
dude, that movie looks awesome.
It's incredible.
Like Godzilla's a stud.
Yeah, the cost isn't the problem. The rewrites are the problem.
I think there's definitely still an audience that wants to see those things, because you just mentioned -1. And since we're talking about comedy horror, there's a new franchise that came out a handful of years ago called Terrifier. It's a very it's like a very schlocky horror, but it's very, very grounded in like practical effects. The third one came out, and I saw it in the theaters, and I think that one was made for like $2 million, and it grossed in theaters, domestic and international. It was like $100 million. It's
a pretty good. That's a pretty good return.
Oh yeah, no, it was wild. Nobody saw that
creepy
coming.
Clown man's getting a raise.
What's that?
So that creepy clown man's getting a raise.
Yeah. Like I'm invested now in that franchise just because the creator of it like is very dead set that everything's practical.
Yeah.
It's so again, like there's a market for, I think people are craving to have that market back where like they can see authenticity, or like rival that with say a movie that completely flopped and I didn't go see it, but like Snow White, right?
Yeah.
They put a couple $100 million in a stupid Disney movie, or like a good Disney movie, but they made it stupid, right?
Yeah.
And that thing just flopped.
Yeah.
People want a good script. Like people just want a good story.
Yeah. It's not enough to just say, hey, this is the IP, right? Like
not anymore. Yeah. We're done with that.
Yeah. You have to do something. You have to do something to it to like, and I think out of like all of the live action like Disney movies, I think there's 2 that I really like. Like I like Beauty and the Beast a lot, and I liked Cinderella. But now I'm like thinking about it. Cinderella was forever ago. That was
I was in high school.
But like everything else, Aladdin blew.
2015.
Like Snow White sucked. Like Lion King was just they tried to do a carbon copy of it, and it's just like it doesn't make sense. Oh, Jungle Book. Jungle Book was good. That's the one that I actually like.
Jungle Book.
Was it?
Yeah, I enjoyed.
Are we talking the old one or like the 90s?
Yeah, 1995. Jason Scott Lee. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you guys knew what I was talking. No, I actually just found that on VHS, like in my home, and this is something against streaming. I can't find it anywhere. It's not on Disney Plus, and I'm like, what am I paying you $15 a month for if you're not going to put live action Jungle Book?
Is it not a Disney movie?
It is a Disney movie, but there's got to be some other thing happening.
I wonder if because he's. I know this sounds crazy, but I wonder if it's like because he's Hawaiian and he's not in any way like Indonesian.
A Jungle
Indian.
Book man.
I don't know. Johnny Tsunami.
Is that guy not?
Actually Hawaiian. He's actually Indonesian,
he's
not
actually
Hawaiian. No, but there's like the cast in that movie
He's Latino.
Is awesome. Anyway,
real quick, it's apparently not a Disney produced film. While Disney acquired distribution rights and promoted it in some regions, it was an independently produced movie. So there you go.
But it's still like a Disney distributed movie. You feel like the rights are out there somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to watch it on VHS because I talk about it all the time and haven't watched it.
I think the trend of I don't know if the trend of the IP stuff is going to stop. I mean, there's always an audience for an IP.
I'm not opposed to throwing out IP that we're familiar with. But you do have to make it a good movie or it will flop, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And I think John said about the Snow White thing. I am really hoping that they finally have I don't know. Maybe, I don't know how much money they're making off of those. Maybe they're making more money than we realize off of them. And there's also the merchandising aspect of it. And we forget that with Disney, the merchandising is probably a much larger profit part than the ticket sales are. So
okay, I want to throw some stuff out. This is I'm going to build a case for the studios and why I think it maybe is tough for them to make good comedy films over and over again. Okay, I asked ChatGPT, give me 3 definitive comedy films from each decade.
Okay,
right. Starting from the 70s.
Okay.
In the 1970s, we got Blazing Saddles, Monty Python, The Holy Grail, Animal House.
Great.
Okay. And I enjoyed all 3 of these. But again, Blazing Saddles, you kind of see Mel Brooks, and then you have other people trying to do Mel Brooks.
It's Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, right?
Gene Wilder, yep. And this is obviously, it's a satire on... It is a satire on racism.
Westerns.
It's a satire on the Westerns.
Yeah.
And Mel Brooks, in his incomparable way, it's very over the top, very silly, but also very piercing for the times. And Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder are monsters at this time. Yep. So monster players, not monsters.
No, they're disgusting human beings. They're slaughtering millions. I kill them like animals.
Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Obviously, the advent of British comedy, and then Animal House, which was the first real good Kevin Bacon movie. No, the first real college comedy movie.
Yeah.
It is Kevin Bacon's first.
John Belushi, quite important.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's so that's
Kevin Bacon's first movie.
That's his first movie credit.
Really?
Yep.
That's funny. I thought it was Friday the 13th.
He
was in that. Yeah, sorry.
I could be wrong.
Animal House should be before Friday the 13th.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was. Yeah, I think you're right. It might have just been an early roll.
It's saying Animal House.
So I guess think through all of these and think about I'm not going to name them, but think about essentially all of the movies that tried to come out. You may not remember them from the 70s and 80s, but think about the movies that tried to come out that tried to repeat what these movies did. and sucked and are truly forgettable, right?
Yeah,
like
we don't remember
they're off in the ether somewhere.
Yeah.
You can stream them on Tubi.
They're off in the ether somewhere.
1980s, you got Airplane. Now, this is a spoof movie similar to the Mel Brooks style, but Leslie Nielsen doing his thing. And again, you've seen Scary Movie, Disaster Movie, all of these that are tried to do the airplane like formula and just can't do it as well. Ghostbusters, sci-fi comedy. Sci-fi comedy lab, this is what it says. Blockbuster blended with laughs and spectacle. And then Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And that's 1986. I probably would have said The Breakfast Club, but you've got John Hughes again doing a heartfelt teen movie that has a lot of comedy in it. Would you say, John, Breakfast Club is a comedy?
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, I mean, I think it's kind of like the 90s. I know it's in the 80s, but like it's kind of like akin to like the 90s high school coming of age comedy. Like it's a coming of age comedy. Although I don't know, maybe coming of age not the right word, but like it's a high school comedy of these rascallions all getting in trouble and whatnot. Yeah, I'd call it a comedy.
So it's John Hughes movies are their own.
It's a blend. It's a blend for sure.
And I'm not saying that they don't count. I'm just saying they don't. The same rules I don't think are going to apply when you look back to John Hughes movies.
I was going to say Ferris Bueller's is closer to a straight comedy than Breakfast Club.
Hilarious, yeah.
Right, like Breakfast Club, there is way more drama to it. Like, Bender getting his cigarette burnt from his dad. That sort of stuff.
I found that hilarious, actually.
It's a great bit, but
if you ever burn somebody with a cigarette, you know how funny that is. Yeah, I would say John Hughes is really similar to Judd Apatow in the sense that I think it's much rarer, but the comedy really rests mostly on the writing and not on the performers. Yeah. And I think that's extremely an outlier in these, but keep going.
No, I think that's a very interesting point where you have studio people writing a movie and not like, not studio people, but you have somebody writing and it's like, and actually one of my favorite examples is Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams. Yeah. You have a guy who wrote a script. Yeah. That is a very funny script and a very good movie. Yeah. But then you insert Robin Williams, who is an incredible performer and an incredible like ad lib guy.
Improviser.
And I can't remember who directed that movie. Ben, get on it. That's embarrassing. I should know that.
I believe it was Wiggle Jigglehauser.
But
he's right. It's Wiggle Jigglehauser.
Oh my gosh. How did you know that? But he does a scene and Rob Williams just does Robin Williams. And the director goes, yep, that's the one. And the screenwriter's like, can we at least try the line that I worked on a year for? He goes, no, Rob Williams is better.
Barry Levinson.
Would have never got it.
So close.
But there is a difference, I guess is what I'm trying to say, from writing and performing. And it is obviously it's best when they are blended together. Will Ferrell is probably similar in that, where you go, just put Will Ferrell in the scene and let him be a performer.
Well, I think the best, you're about to come up on this era. So I think we'll see the best example of this, I think, actually in the 90s era.
So 90s, we got Groundhog's Day.
We do.
Dumb and Dumber, 94. And then there's Something About Mary.
Are those the biggest? Maybe I miss.
Those are the three that ChatGPT gave me. What would you say?
Well, and maybe I'm hazy on when some of these came out, but like in the 90s and the early 2000s, it's the Jim Carrey era of comedy.
1994, Dumb and Dumber. Jim Carrey.
He's there.
Oh, yeah.
And
but like Liar, Liar.
Ace Ventura,
Liar, The Mask, Ace Ventura. And then even things that are less comedic, Cable Guy. Like if you think about these DVD cases, what's the DVD case? It's just a picture of Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
In the studio, Batman Forever, even they've got Ace Ventura 2 that probably made good money, even though it's a crap movie. When Nature Calls.
I agree. And the Liar Liar is the same director as Ace Ventura, and so here's where I'm gonna kind of tie this all together. You've got Mel Brooks doing Mel Brooks things in the 70s, and Monty Python, which is like they're in their own realm.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, and we talked about kind of the John Hughes effect. Ghostbusters and Groundhog's Day, those are 10 years apart, but they're the same director, right?
Interesting.
And Bill Murray, right? So you've got the same people doing. I mean, they're completely different stories, but like
doing the same thing.
It's Bill Murray and Reitman like doing a thing.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber is the Farrelly brothers directed that, and obviously it's Jim Carrey as well. There's Something About Mary, also the Farrelly brothers, but it's Ben Stiller, and what you just said, The Cable Guy, that's Ben Stiller and Jim Carrey. So you have in each decade, it almost is like you have a writer and director identified that they are just crushing it. And then there's everybody else trying to do them, and they're not crushing it, right? So I think that's why the 90s are kind of like a golden era, because you did have Ben Stiller, Jim Carrey, and Judd Apatow is behind the scenes of a lot of these. But then you've got the Farrelly brothers doing their thing.
Yeah. Trying to think of who else are big comedians making films. And the other person that we've missed is Steve
Rob
Martin.
Williams is 80s and 90s.
Yeah, Rob Williams. And most of his movies aren't even that funny. Like, he's a funny stand-up comedian, but most of his movies aren't even like that comedic. But you've got just like Slap Him on Jumanji. You've got, and then you've also got in the 90s, you've got
John
Tim
Hughes.
Allen, where it's like more kid friendly, but it's like, okay, Tim Allen, great. Let's make him Santa Claus. Let's make him a dad in this. Let's make him a dad in this.
Yeah, there's obviously a ton of sub-genres, but I think you can see the trend over and over again.
Yeah.
That this is what works, and these are the movies that last. And then all the studios are trying to replicate that, but as we know, replicating doesn't really work.
Okay, can I? Are you going to go through the 2000s and the 2010s as well?
I can. I will. But yeah, John. Oh, I was going to let John get in.
Sorry, John.
Thoughts so far, John?
Honestly, the biggest upsetting shock that I had in the 90s is that ChatGPT didn't give you the 1996 classic Kazam.
Well, good point.
With Shaquille O'Neal.
Good point.
But, not everybody has good taste.
I wish that it would rain candy.
You go, I think the 1990s was marked by NBA stars starring in kids' movies.
Space Jam.
And,
Which that one hit.
It does.
It's great.
I need another one. I wish I had another.
And Stiller heavyweights.
Well, sorry, I was thinking of another. I was trying to think of another NBA star.
Oh, and
you got Air Bud too.
Yeah, Air Bud.
No, just the first one is basketball.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Air Bud. He probably could have played in the WNBA.
Oh, come on, John. There's no way Caitlin Clark is guarding the golden retriever.
He'd still take her.
Let's think Air Bud 2, the golden receiver.
When he plays football.
Yeah. John, your video's frozen. I don't know what's happening. I can still hear you, but.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe turn it off and turn back on. While John's figuring that out, let me hit.
Air Bud the golden receiver would be the way to make that movie terrible is Air Bud gets CTE and goes crazy.
All right, 2000s. We got Anchorman. Will Ferrell kind of peaking, I think.
Definitely.
In 2004. The 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
Steve Carell had a good.
And Steve Carell, I think, is definitely involved in. While a lot of this is, he's Anchorman and 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
But a lot of this is,
and The Office.
The Office. Superbad, 2007, and then in 2010 they give us Bridesmaid, The Hangover, which is 2009, but kind of feels like 2010, and then 21 Jump Street says self-aware, sharp, and revitalized buddy cop comedies which is true.
200 Jump Street's hilarious.
Shout out Dax Flame.
What'd you say? What do you think?
Oh, we lost John. We lost Ralphie boy.
He'll come back.
Oh, Ralph. What's
Kevin Hart also had a run. I'm not saying any of these movies are good, but like just to acknowledge, like if we're just doing like who in each decade like had a big who did you see everywhere, and then everyone tried to do like a style similar to that. Kevin Hart and The Rock both were like having their kind of their run.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look. First of all, Kevin Hart's one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. Love him or hate him, he's one of the most dynamic stand-ups.
Yeah,
like very, very powerful stand-up comedian. And what's interesting is like his whole what should have been his run. Let's like the Will Ferrell or Jim Carrey run became straight to streaming movies.
Yeah.
And that's really what happened. Like Kevin Hart is a household name for sure, but Kevin Hart would have been Jim Carrey if he wasn't in the middle of the streaming wars.
Yeah.
All of his films would have come out to theater.
I will say the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle movies are pretty funny.
They're
What's
great.
crazy is I've never watched them, and I keep getting recommended to watch them, and I haven't watched them yet.
You should watch them, and honestly, the first one, it plays to like Kevin Hart's strength, right? Of like the type of guy he is. But then on the second one, he's a zoologist, and Danny Glover, the old guy from Lethal Weapon, gets put into Kevin Hart's body. And so now Kevin Hart is not doing the top like
he's doing the
craziness.
Straight, like,
yeah. He goes. Did you know that rhinoceroses can run up to you? I'm not sure why I know that. And it's like of the funniest, like it's some of the funniest stuff that I've seen Kevin Hart do is playing the opposite of what he typically does.
Really funny.
It's really, really funny.
Another kind of someone from that movie, Jack Black, who probably didn't have as high as his heyday was probably mid to late 2000s with like School of Rock.
Jack Black's got a weird career, man. If you look at the movies that he's made, you go, this guy is an absolute legend. And then you go, there's actually only like 4 or 5 like
great movie.
Great quote unquote movies, but like you love Jack Black.
Yeah.
Right? Like School of Rock. Unbelievable.
Nacho Libre.
You love Nacho Libre. You love him.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda is one of the biggest movie franchises of all time.
It is huge.
And you know
crazy.
What? It's because it's awesome.
It is awesome. I haven't watched the 4th one. I kind of start. I start getting the Land Before Time effect, where I go. The first 2 were necessary, but
the next 13 were not.
The
as
next
good.
13, I feel like, are just cash grabs.
But then, sounds like a cash grab. The Jack Black effect is real though, in the sense that they made the Minecraft movie, and the Minecraft movie is an easy win because you have an entire generation of kids who are obsessed with Minecraft.
Now, but I haven't watched it yet. But with that being said, though, about putting good scripts or like good things into IP, like it's the same director as Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. It's Jack Black. Like
I will say, it's not because of them that movies. I think it's a combination of. I've seen it. It's a huge IP that kids just want to inject into their veins.
Yeah.
And Jack Black has become like an internet phenomenon.
Yeah.
And so
his Instagram is hilarious.
That movie only works because of him. It's only watchable because of him.
Yeah.
Ben, that's my literal point. That's my literal point is the Jack Black effect with Minecraft was they were like, oh, we've got this movie. Maybe it'll be kind of passable. Throw Jack Black in it. And the same thing you said about Robin Williams. Just let Jack Black do Jack Black. And it saves the movie.
It's crazy money.
There is a thing about, I was just watching this thing. John, have we talked the rewatchables ever, the podcast?
The rewatchables?
Yeah, Bill Simmons. No. Are you a sports guy? Do you watch sports?
Sports guy?
Not huge.
It's okay. Well, it's a sports like thing, but they have podcasts that do more than just sports, and the rewatchables is one of them. And every now and again, they have a guy on there named Chris Ryan. who talks about 80s action movies, and it's definitely my sweet spot. But they just did a podcast where they made all of the NFL teams and they assigned like 80s action movies to them. And it was really, really funny.
That's
the
awesome.
Cincinnati Bengals, they said, is Tango and Cash. And they go, Tango and Cash, just so you guys know, it's Stallone and Kurt Russell, buddy cop movie. And they go, it's not a good movie, but it is entertaining as hell. And for an hour and 45 minutes, you just get to hang with Stallone and Kurt Russell. It's just a good hang, right? It's
That's
entertaining.
funny.
And the Bengals, not a good team, but they're going to be entertaining. And you just get to hang with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase for a couple hours. I was like, that's really, really funny. I think when you talk about comedy films, there is definitely an element of performer where you go, let's get this guy into a movie, and it doesn't always work. There's a reason Jerry Seinfeld doesn't have a great movie career, although I love the B movie.
So does everyone else.
It doesn't always work, but there is a thing of like, let's just let these guys like be funny. Like
Mike Myers,
Yeah.
another one.
Mike Myers, yeah, like let's let him do like Austin Powers over and over again.
Yeah, dude,
and it's okay.
Yeah. John, what's your theory on why don't we have more comedies today? If you could pin it down, what's going on?
Oh, that's an easy one. The Marvel Universe ruined the world.
That's it.
Hey, and
And I'll stand by that. It's horrible. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Just as a side note, real quick, and I'm going to let you expound on that. I just bought a comic book this last week that is Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, and it's like a 4-issue run, and it opens with Peter Quill just getting blasted. Rocket Raccoon done, and it's
hilarious.
like. Then they go to the moon and they take on the Fantastic Four and they just like launch the thing into outer space. He's like, he's indestructible. So they just like slingshot him out into orbit. And they're like, as you can see, we're not just all talk on this one. It's not who's going to die. It's who will survive. I'm like, I'm here for it.
Honestly, that could be such a big movie if they just made some type of parody satire thing of like somebody just destroying the oh god, that would be great.
Do
Dude.
you like Deadpool, John? You seem like you would enjoy Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's also a Deadpool
it's a
Kills
good
the Marvel
comedy.
Universe comic run.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and like so the resurgence, or I don't even know if resurgence is a good word because it was so recent or it wasn't that far apart, but like the Deadpool Wolverine, that was great. Logan, I think was fantastic. Honestly, I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was mostly just asking that because Deadpool is like a self-contained parody of Marvel.
Yeah, it's truth be told, the only Marvel things that I really like are comic book, probably back in the 90s. And this is also just because like I do like that genre, but Blade and The Crow.
Sure.
Sick.
I'm not asking I'm not asking you to like find comic book movies that you like. I totally get it. You don't like the comic book movies. That's not a bad thing at all. I was just curious if you enjoyed the like parody of that within like the Deadpool thing, but you don't. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean the first Deadpool was good, and again, Wolverine Deadpool, that was great, but it's also great probably because like it knew what it was. It had a lot of member berries in the sense of like hitting with all of the old things
Big
and
time
kind
member
of paying
berries.
homage, like but just the like
No, you don't. No,
you didn't go watch the normal ones.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just was curious about that. So your theory is essentially the giant production of these way over budget, huge Marvel movies has killed kind of every other thing in the theatrical.
coupled
release.
with streaming. Because I think streaming has also has taken a major hit
Yeah.
to the studios because now they'll just release things on that. And even like, God, I hate to say it, but I feel a little bit like ChatGPT. I feel like there's some movies that like, there's no way somebody thought that because people can be dumb, but not that dumb.
Yeah. The AI written scripts.
Yep. I genuinely think it's out there.
I'm sure.
Although,
I
with
wouldn't
that
be
being
surprised.
said, I tried to watch The Ballad of Davy Crockett on Amazon, which came out like 4 or 5 years ago. They're like, this movie's not written by AI. That's like one of the like screens right before it starts. And then I'm like, either they're trying too hard to like say that it's not written by AI, or you should probably not be putting your name on this. Not good.
Pretty bad.
Not good.
This, regardless of what people say when they watch it, this movie was not written by AI.
It is interesting. You go, there are some movies on like Amazon or whatever that you go, this should have been put out on YouTube. This is like where you can you go, hey, we made a movie. Isn't that fun?
Free. Dude,
it's free. Yeah. And then you go, but like somehow it's made its way onto the streaming service.
Dude, that's a whole other conversation for another day of like, I have so much compassion for filmmakers that are passionate about making film, but the things that they're passionate about, they'll just never get the budget to create. And they end up kind of like churning out stuff. That's got to be soul killing. It's really interesting to me. But maybe they like it though. But my theory is the same as John's. My theory is comedy has always only thrived profitably because of directors and writers I do think are important, but I think it's been carried on the shoulders of the biggest comedy performers and stars. And I think it's a genre where you can put anybody in an action movie, and as long as you can like grease them up and give them fake muscles, they'll generally, like Guy Pearce is in like Locked In or whatever, like a big, and Guy Pearce isn't an action star, but you have to have somebody that has the gravity and just like the magnanimous talent,
presence,
to really, and you have got Steve Martin. All the movies you named, other than the John Hughes movies and the Apatow movies, they're all headlined by somebody with an insane talent. It's John Belushi, it's Steve Martin, it's Jim Carrey, it's Ben Stiller, it's Jack Black, and like. Right now, I think that the issue is all of the stars that could do that are getting swallowed up into the big budget comic book movies. And so instead of making a big budget movie that's a really funny movie with Chris Pratt, which they should have done, that's
a great point. Like, how has Chris Pratt not like crushed 4 or 5 like really solid comedies?
That's a really good.
Because he's not going to make anybody doing it.
Because I mean, you could say that Guardians of the Galaxy is a comedy, right? Like it's him. It is him being that. But yeah, I guess you're right. It is. Somebody asked a question. This was a while ago, but they're like, "Who do you think should be in the Marvel universe?" And I think it was Robert Downey Jr. He's like, "Who isn't in the Marvel universe?" Like, what a dumb question. Like everybody's in it.
That's the new goal to become a commercially successful actor: is do some Marvel movies. Get in, get out, and then you get to work on like it's literally Chris Evans. Then you get to do whatever you're passionate about.
Now you get to do the A24
for
film.
the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And we never actually wanted anything from Chris Evans but Captain America, because everything he's done outside of the MCU is not really
not
lovable.
Another teen movie.
Yeah.
Kumail
Nanjiani, he's been on podcasts talking about how like when he got Eternals, he's like, this is it. I'm set up. This is my job for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I could just do this and then do the stuff I want. Yeah. And then it bombed.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. It was his job for the next 10 years because he's not doing anything.
He's like doing some random commercials.
Could be
where they're like, it is a weird thing that it's like Kumail Nanjiani that I knew as like a stand-up, like he's now doing commercials where he's like the buff guy.
Dude,
like that's like the whole bit. And you're like, dude, you were doing like some really kind of niche horror comedy, like horror movie reference comedies that were amazing.
He still does a lot of stuff. He's in a TV show on like HBO Max or whatever. So he's still working and acting. But he's a great example. Kumail Nanjiani should have been the next like making huge comedy hits, and instead was like, oh, I'll do the Eternals.
And I think that I think there's not a person right now that is obvious to me that is of the performer caliber that you go, I mean, outside of like Chris Pratt, like
no, but he's not a
someone
comedian.
who is on the comedy stage.
Think about your favorite comedians right now. Which of them could headline a great movie? Which of them is a Robin Williams? Not Tom Segura.
No,
No.
I don't think Shane Gillis can like come in and like carry. And I think actually even Burt Kreischer has proven that he can't.
Can't do it.
He can't carry a movie.
That's not like he's obviously an amazing stand-up, like commercially, but he is not someone that he doesn't have the Jim Carrey, Jack Black thing.
So you got to find
Burt Kreischer.
So you got to find that person, right? To have kind of like a decade. And I think the 90s is a crazy time because you had this, Rob Williams was not like too old at that point.
Yeah.
You had Ben Stiller, Jim Carrey, like you had a bunch of people kind of converging and being great. And then even like SNL guys towards the late 90s.
Yeah.
But then I do think you had, so you have that, but when you don't have that, you do have to have an incredibly good sketch or script. We go back to the IP. Like it doesn't matter what you're trying to make. You have to have something that is very good, well written, and well acted. And I think this honestly is a little bit of what I miss. You've got, and I've completely left out like John Candy. Like John Candy is a force.
Yeah.
Like he is a force.
Well,
in
we
films.
also left out Chris Farley, which is insane.
Touche. Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
If he was alive right now, we would be having a different discussion.
Dude, 100%. He would still be doing, That is
or
crazy
he'd be
to
playing,
think about, like him and like cameos. He's the Rob Schneider in Adam Sandler films. No, Chris Farley would have been more than that.
Yeah. Well, Adam Sandler's another guy that like he shouldn't have ever had like a huge comedy career. He's not. Adam Sandler's really cool, and if there's anybody in Hollywood that I wish I could like be friends with, it's Adam Sandler. But like he's not. I mean, I guess he has the one character. He has like the Happy Gilmore the Billy Madison character, I guess, the Waterboy character. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, he's got his character, but I think
that's a good point.
Everybody who talks about Adam Sandler is his like tenacity, and also there is something electric about him like on screen, even if he doesn't have a big character. But you have to then have scripts, right? You have to have a Judd Apatow style movie that is emotional, and this is what I was going to say that I miss. If you think about the Steve Martin, John Candy stuff, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which happens to be a John Hughes movie.
Interesting.
It's a really, really funny movie that has a lot of heart to it.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And the humor of that movie is just in the writing. It's just
in the writing.
It's not Steve Martin and John Candy. It's just in the script.
They play well off of each other because John is a big guy and Steve Martin can be this like straight man, businessman. But I miss that. And I think if you worked on people writing those sorts of movies and put them in theaters, it's going to be profitable. Like it has to be.
But it is the same issue as it's still the Marvel thing. Who's directing the Ryan Gosling, not Marvel, but Disney? Who's directing the Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie?
Sean Levy.
Are you serious?
Sean Levy.
We've talked about this.
I forgot. I always forget.
Right now, there's like 3 names I can think of who's going to write and direct a really funny banger. There's Sean Levy. Frickin'
Totally fine.
Sean Levy, the guy that did Get Out. He keeps doing horror movies.
Jordan Peele.
Sean Levy, Jordan Peele, and my James Gunn. And those are the 3 names I can think of right now. Kristen Wiig too, but Kristen Wiig for whatever reason just like kind of stopped doing stuff. So,
okay, we gotta wrap this up. I feel like we didn't let you talk a whole lot. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We need to have you back on and talk more movies. But that's kind of the state of comedy films. And where final thoughts on it, John.
Silver lining. I think we might see a little bit more coming out. Didn't go see it. Everybody said it did fantastic. Maybe it'll kind of lead to something. The Naked Gun remake.
Oh yeah,
I want to see it.
Apparently that crushed it. Kind kind of feel that the pendulum's going a little bit more in the direction of, hey, we're not necessarily concerned about offending people as much anymore. We just want to make movies that are funny, regardless of like political beliefs, and they can be inappropriate and raunchy, or like we don't really have to, we don't have to have a board of like, all right, what's the most diverse, cast that we can get to like make sure we hit all the wickets. Looking at you, Snow White. Not hiring actual little people that. Oof, that pissed me off.
That's crazy. Is it because, John,
Peter Dinklage.
Is it because
Thank
you're
you, Peter.
a little person?
Oof. And it's funny because he's the one that actually kind of did that. Peter Dinklage.
Oh, it's 100% his fault. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, all right, what's your thought on the state of comedy? Let me tell you about Peter Dinklage. Also, in a new remake of The Toxic Avenger, which is an 80s Tromo film, and he is only the character without the makeup. So the actual person who wore the prosthetic was like a female, and basically no mention of her, and doesn't really go into any detail why he didn't want to wear it. He just didn't wear it. He's the main actor in the film. He is the Toxic Avenger, but doesn't even actually be the Toxic Avenger because he didn't want to do that. Don't like it.
He just Peter Dinklage does, and I don't know him, so maybe he's more complex in this, but he just screams pretentious.
Well, I think he might be from the South Pole.
Yeah. Shout out to Game of Thrones. Obviously, that was great up until the last handful of seasons where there's like, we don't know what we're doing anymore.
Because the books literally hadn't been written yet. Like we literally don't know what we're doing anymore.
And man, if that isn't a telltale sign of like letting executive producers and that like number by industry type of people make something where they're like, well, I mean, obviously the author and like we're doing the pacing right now, we don't have anything, and they just like it's basically like you were in an AP class during high school, and then you realize like the teacher realized you're using ChatGPT and you ran out of credits or money, and then you had to write a paper and you're like, oh crap. All right, think of something. It's like, oh wow, you're clearly cheating.
That sounds like the premise for a great modern comedy.
Yeah.
Honestly, it could be. Because all you have to do is just take your time and write a good script. Like, it's not that hard.
It is interesting.
It just doesn't seem that hard.
I think that the common challenge always happens is that the studios need to turn it over to the creative people, and the creative people say, here's a really good product for you to put out, and save your notes, just put this movie out. And like, it will, sure, some creative people need to be honed in a little bit, but like for the most part, if you put your trust in the creative process, you're going to have a good movie. And when it is a good movie, it will make you money.
I think another thing too, we need more independent studio things like 60s, 70s, 80s. You had these small up and comers that were doing that stuff where it's become such a monopoly that you're not going to get. Yeah. You're just not going to get that anymore. And like A24 to Darius's point, they're still kind of like, they are that indie thing, Neon. But we also, not comedy, but we're seeing a pretty big resurgence in horror indie.
Yeah.
And like I think I told you when I was in town, I saw Weapons.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Really? Phenomenal movie. And wouldn't even necessarily call it horror, but it was like suspenseful. I think we're getting, hopefully comedy gets in this route, but I think we're getting a little bit more of the indie horror to come back out. Because they're cheap movies to make, and they can potentially be the next Terrifier and make 50 times the budget.
Well, and I think that that's the same element with comedy is you don't need to sink $100 million into this. Like, you don't need crazy effects. Like, you just have like a funny movie with characters and a good story, and like, and it could potentially make 20, 30, 40 times your money. Like, it's not that hard of a formula, in my opinion.
What I don't understand is like, why isn't John Mulaney writing movie. Like, that's what I don't understand. Is like part of the thing with comedy is comedians are some of the most volatile people. And that is like, it's a very volatile and a very toxic like ecosphere that they live in. They're constantly bickering with each other. They're all extremely insecure. And I mean that in love, because I'm like, I'm that archetype. But I think that's part of it. Like, you've got to get people who are well adjusted enough, but they're still funny enough to like sit down and write scripts, and they're not just like constantly like chasing a fix for their insecurity by trying to land the next role. They're trying to outdo the next comedian. Or like TJ Miller. TJ Miller should have been one of those guys who's like writing great comedies, but no one likes working with him.
Yeah.
Well, and that dude has a pretty, the dude's supposed to be pretty tough to work with.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can't blame him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody wants to work with him. It would be his fault if just Ryan Reynolds didn't want to work with him. That would maybe be Ryan Reynolds' fault, but nobody wants to work with him.
Yeah.
That's a him problem.
There's a common denominator.
And we love him.
Yeah. Well, that's just a telltale sign for anybody, right? Turns out that regardless of what your job is, people like to work with people that that they can do synergy with instead of like this guy is just like,
dude, like the same thing. Like, why is Pete Holmes not writing? And that's an interesting question. Why is Pete Holmes not writing? He's a genius. Why is he not writing great scripts? Pete Davidson writes stuff, and Pete Davidson is really funny, but he's also like so sad. Like, very sad funny, which I like, but I want something that's just like,
sometimes you want
crazy.
Actual levity. And
I think what we're going to see is a Tim Robinson era.
Yeah.
I know.
We're entering into it for sure.
I know so many.
We already are there.
Yeah.
Touche.
Well, what I mean is we're going to see a span where it's like, and Tim Robinson was in this and this and this and this. And I know. Like,
and then everyone trying to copy it.
Totally. Yeah. There's gonna be something that comes out that they try to do Tim Robinson, and
dude.
Is gonna tank. I'll tell you right now, it'll tank.
I also hope that it will have negative ramifications, but I also hope that it does spawn a bunch of people who are not just copycats, but they're inspired to go make zany screwball stuff.
Totally.
And like a bunch of young 15 to 25-year-olds who are like, I'm a freaking weirdo. I want people to laugh at me being a weirdo, and then go out there and be like, if Tim can do it, then we can do it. Yeah. And just go be weird for us. Like, dance, you little freak monkeys.
Yeah. Well, and Tim's a good example, but he's even pretty small in the ether. Like, I'm thinking Shane Gillis, obviously, big comic, Tires,
Jesse Hates.
like Netflix picked that up. Stavros Halkin.
Stavros
he made his
good.
Independent movie called Let's Start a Cult.
Who's this?
Wasn't greatest,
Stavros,
but like,
big Greek guy. He's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah, big fat Greek guy with like a mullet, kind of no hair. Okay. He's hilarious.
Nate Bargatze is about to come out with a movie. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Nate Bargatze is a movie.
I heard about it.
Nate Bargatze is not the guy that I'm thinking of. He's not that guy.
He's not the type of guy. Yeah,
but
I mean, he's the type of guy that should write a movie.
He should,
and listen, there's a lot of like Steve Martin plays a lot of straight like characters that are funny. That's like who Nate Bargatze needs to do, but like he needs a Martin Short.
Get it? Oh gosh, Jesse, you're such a freaking genius. Yeah, well, couldn't have said that. Yes, get the Martin Shorts of Nate Bargatze's generation around him to let him play off of.
Here's who's in the movie: Mandy Moore, Will Forte, Colin Jost, and Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh,
bro. Okay.
Will Forte could be the Martin Short,
absolutely
kind of guy.
Absolutely,
dude. It's coming. It's coming. Like that with all the, because podcasting now can basically just be done on YouTube without like, a shoestring budget. Yeah. The SNL days are pretty much dead. Yeah. We can always love it, but like they're gone. What's big now and what's coming in is like, hey, I can independently make my own podcast, and now I can end up going on tour and do all this. And like, now we're going to start independently producing films. I think that's where it's going to be. I
mean, I literally just said, and we're going to wrap this up, but I was making a joke with Ben, like we need to they were trying to show a video or a movie, and like Stone Church Youth Group, and they picked a terrible movie. And I'm like, we need to make a New Way Stories movie, like a New Way Stories produced movie that is, you can show it at youth group and you're not embarrassed to show it at youth group. Your kids are not embarrassed to invite their friends to it.
Yep.
And it's still a fun movie, right?
So, dude, I'm telling you, Jesse, I told Jesse this a few months ago. So like Angel Studios, which love it or hate it, whether you think they're cheesy or good or dumb or bad or whatever, they just came out with Sketch. Sketch has done extremely well. Angel Studios is essentially independent, conservative media, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of liberals that work in the ecosphere of Angel Studios.
There's 1 minute left.
They have no comedy. They need Jesse to write scripts and send them to them.
I'm here for you. All right, we got like 30 seconds left on our recording. So I'm going to wrap this up. Guys, love you. Subscribe, follow, tell your friends about us.
Thanks for coming on, John.
And John, thanks for coming on.